we're going to make great coffee in a bad coffee maker. Let's do it. The main thing that is just important when doing coffee is 3 things. No one ever does them with these, but they'll do them with pour overs and everything else. And I think that's why these get such a bad reputation. And that is measuring out your water and coffee, using good water, and cleaning your equipment. I don't think anyone's ever cleaned one of these. I know this one wasn't clean because when I opened it, there was coffee dust everywhere, and I did a deep clean with it. And it leads us to our first thing that you want to buy if you are loving the fact that you can program the little timer on these, and that is
Cafeza. It's what like coffee shops use to clean out espresso machines. It works on like stainless steel mugs too. It just makes stainless steel shine. It's great at cleaning, and yeah.
All the coffee grime that you just get built up. That's like all built up in here, all through your system. All I did was you just need literally a tiny pinch. I put it in the reservoir after I filled it up. I hit brew and I ran it 3 times. And the stuff that came out of this was horrifying.
And I cut to a B-roll shot because it was, I think it was moving.
I think it was.
It was gross. So
I don't know if we got it all.
And that wasn't even a machine that was used every day, just randomly every once in a while. So if you're using your machine every day, before you make your coffee tomorrow, you need to clean it right now.
Yes. Deep clean, all the stuff. The little filter, water spout, your tray, whole 9 yards, get it clean. So we have that. So now we are going to measure out our water, because that's the first thing people just forget.
Curious how accurate, like, because usually, you just fill it up to like the 6 mark. I'm curious, like, how accurate that is to being 6 cups, Yeah.
I never understand any of these lines because I've filled it up to 4 cups and it's not 4 cups of coffee. And you're like, oh, is it just 4 real cups? And I'm like, I don't think so.
From what, and I don't know if this is true, this is what Chat GPT said when I was doing some calculations, is that a like traditional cup of coffee isn't a like US 8-ounce cup, it's 6 cups. So like on these, it's 6 ounces. I don't know if that's true. Maybe that's not true on every coffee maker, coffee pot. I don't know, but that could be why like you're getting less out of it. Which would make sense because then they could put, you can make 20 cups, but it's not a full cup. To me, an 8-ounce cup of coffee still isn't a full cup of coffee, but
yeah, I think we can all agree on that one. What am I filling this to?
Let me see.
What's our math?
My calculation said are you in grams or milliliters?
I'm in grams.
You want 1,062 milliliters, which I believe. Okay, yeah, it converts the same. So 1,062 grams of water.
1,062 grams of water.
Which this ratio is for 6-ounce cups. So it's supposed to make a 6-ounce cup.
So close.
So it is supposed to make 6-ounce cups.
Okay, what inspired this video is we have some big batch brewers in our coffee shop that we use just for drip coffee. Everyone likes drip coffee. Sometimes I go to a coffee shop, I just want to drip. And the guy that helped us install them, fine-tune our espresso machine and everything was like, there's no reason you shouldn't get pour over grade coffee out of these machines. And he had like a Slayer, like he knew his stuff. He wasn't just saying it. He didn't even work for the company that made the batch brewers, but he just said, he's like, it's the same drip as you want from like Waterhead. It's mathematically dialed in, so it's going to be the same. So he's like, if you're getting bad batch coffee, it's because your ratio's wrong, not because batch coffee is just inherently bad. So we're taking that and bringing it down a level to your house.
Which we are using a 1:17 ratio. Sometimes I feel like pour overs usually have around 1:16, 1:17. I did 1:17 because I figure if you're doing this method of coffee, you don't want it super strong.
I had a coffee maker, like a really nice one, did the bloom, did everything, but it didn't have a timer on it. And you had to press it. Like there was no way to like try and hook it up to a smart outlet. And I just remember in college, I was like, I will hotwire this thing. I just want coffee. I don't want to like do all the little process.
I feel like the whole point of having a coffee machine is like, I got to wake up at 5 a.m. or work at 5 a.m. and I just want coffee that's ready.
Actually, I need that.
So if it doesn't have a timer, I don't see the point.
I don't see the point. If you're going to do a timer, it's like, my God.
This coffee should already be measured out to 62 grams, which is again our 1:17 ratio, and see if we lost any in the process. Did you wet this filter?
I did not.
Okay.
You know, I'm going to do it. I'm going to treat this like a pour over. We're going to do
pour over.
The other thing we're going to try with this bowl is not just to hold the coffee filter while we weigh it. We are going to poke some holes in it and try and get a more even disperse of water. And it somewhat does fit right in there. We're going to try it out. Probably won't work.
I'd be curious too, like with this, like, yeah, you could literally, you don't need to put it in the machine to wet it. You could just do just hot water in the sink. Just enough to get it saturated and wet and warm and get that paper flavor out is all you need to do.
I'm realizing the short-sightedness of this whole thing. There we go. Okay. We're good. Filter is
still need this.
Now wet. Got that paper texture out. This is all weighed out. See, this is the thing. Whenever you do, I feel like I've run into this with the coffee maker I have at home, is you have to put so much coffee in the basket. A lot of them they're just not assuming you're doing that ratio, and it comes like right up to the edge.
Yeah.
And sometimes it has a hard time doing the brew.
I don't know if this is, I think the James Hoffman pour over method, you like dig out a little well in the middle. Yeah, like that. Let's try
that.
It's to help get all the ground saturated.
And I will say, like, again, I've heard a lot of people talk about how these have like bad water heads, all that. This is like a pretty common spout. I've seen a $300 coffee maker at a coffee shop with the fancy craft, and it literally has the same head, like water spigot. So I'm like, I think there's some things we can do to try and just mitigate the loss of quality.
I'm going to use our scale, and I want to time out how long this takes, because I'm curious.
I'm like, well, we might have to cut, and I don't want to get into that. We're going to just skip trying to level out the coffee, because even with our pour steady, there's different pouring methods.
Yeah.
The thing I'm going to worry about the most is blooming the coffee, which this doesn't have a bloom feature, but it does have an on-off switch. Let's see how this goes. Okay, what we're going to do is once we start seeing it drip through and we know, okay, coffee's coming through, the boiler's heated up, that's when we're going to hit our timer, start the bloom. Not going to be the most accurate, but
I wish we could like see through. That's like covering everything up.
Oh,
yeah, we're not getting saturated grounds in there.
No. Oh, there we go. Something wrong with the pump?
It's pulling up water slowly.
Okay, start the bloom.
All right.
We'll go for 30 seconds. So I go 45, but it's already been kind of going. Honest to God, I'm going to just unplug this thing.
Completely. I don't feel like that on and off switch is going to work.
That on off switch ain't not going to cut it. Okay, what are we at?
30.
Boom. Okay, so it's unplugged. We're going to just let it go for a little bit.
I'm curious if it's still...
Yeah.
I think it stopped pumping water. I could be wrong.
No.
Okay, the grounds are pretty saturated.
Yeah. Grounds are pretty saturated. Maybe a little oversaturated, but...
Probably for a bloom, yes.
I would almost say with how much coffee you're really trying to bloom here, and it's just not made for that, I would, once you see the first little drip, turn off your coffee maker. I'm sure newer ones or not, this one has an just on-off switch or a just stop button. You could do that. I doubt you're going to need to unplug your coffee maker to get a bloom.
Yeah.
Plugging it back in. There we go. And we're back.
I feel like there's a bit of a negative stereotype towards like these kind of coffee makers. And I say this as someone who has not used one in like at least 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
But I'm like, You know what? I guess we'll see. I haven't tried it in a long time. Usually, the problem with crappy coffee makers is people are putting hazelnut or cherry flavored coffee in them, and it tastes terrible. So, obviously, I'm going to recommend a pour over if you use our coffees. But there's honestly a lot of scenarios where it would be nice to have a coffee.
Yeah. And maybe the thing that like just keeps us from it is like the stigma of like you have a just coffee maker. But how many times have we been in like coffee shops and we ask for a pour over and they have all the great equipment and it's just bad? Or like how they'll have a nice espresso machine, La Mazzocco, and then you're like, oh, this latte just doesn't taste right. And so sometimes it's the person, which unfortunately is you, but it means it's not always your machine. So if you change you can keep using your Mr. Coffee Maker. Nothing smells better than coffee brewed in the morning.
It fills the whole house.
Mm-hmm.
It smells so good.
Yeah.
It smells so good.
It's so good.
We went with our house blend today. A single origin in a crappy coffee maker would be kind of fun to experiment, but I feel like if you're going to use a coffee maker like this, you're going to go our middle of the road, balanced house blend with us. So.
It's got a lot of forgiveness.
Yes. It's brewing slow. We're at 4 minutes here.
So how many pour overs would this be though? Isn't it 6?
It depends on your pour over. Let me look at my chart that chat made.
Because that is the thing. We are brewing just more coffee, so it's like
it's going to take.
We might be pacing.
By these standards, a normal like 21 coffee, like 21 grams of ground coffee would yield 2 cups. So we're doing 3 pour overs, which if you try and do 3 pour overs in, let's say this ends out at 6 minutes, 3 pour overs in 6 minutes is pretty good, especially if you consider that's making sure you have enough water heated up in the kettle, dumping the grounds, heating the mugs, all the other things you have to do with a pour over. You're going to save some time, especially like if you go back to one of our earlier videos on if you should pre-ground your coffee or not. It really doesn't make a huge difference in small time frames. So if you have whole bean coffee, you grind it the night before, throw it in your coffee maker, it's on a timer, you wake up at 4:30 a.m. and coffee's ready to go. It's probably not going to be the best cup of coffee you've ever had in your life. But is it good enough?
Yeah. Like I think the goal of this week is your midweek coffee could be a really, really good cup of coffee.
Yes.
On the weekend. Put in the effort, slow down, put on some lo-fi, do a pour over.
But not everyone has time for that in the morning. I respect that.
We're almost done. We're at 6 minutes. 6 minutes 30. So, finishing out. Oh, god dang. I don't know why I thought that wouldn't be hot. I'm rooting for this. I'm not gonna lie. I'm rooting for this. I think this would be a really fun uproar.
Yeah, I feel like it's like a little bit, again, back to like our coffee, pre-ground coffee thing. A lot of people would probably scoff at that. Like, oh, you need the coffee needs to be ground a millisecond before you touch hot water in it. We didn't find that much of a difference. Obviously, like, go rewatch that video, you'll see what we mean, but a lot of people would be upset about that. And I feel like this could have the same things.
Yeah. We're between 6 and 8 cups. We'll pull it. Let's try it. So it brings me back.
I feel like if the coffee, a little couple drips doesn't burn on the bottom burner, you're not doing it right.
Yeah. This brings you back.
Honestly, another pro move of this is it keeps it warm. It's kind of nice. It's hard to tell off smell, but it does smell a little coffee makery. I don't know how to describe that coffee maker smell.
I'm scared to drink this. I'm not gonna lie. After seeing what was in it, I don't see bits. Yeah, we definitely got the coffee maker clean. Oh, that's good.
There's no flavor to that.
No. We definitely had our ratios off. I think you almost have to double it.
I mean, we measured it out. I don't know.
Somehow it's still bitter. It's like bitter and thin.
Damn. Like our ratio shouldn't be off.
Oh no. I wonder if our ratio needs to change though, because it's like These are grind.
I used our grind size from our like batch brewers.
I
So
thought I would have done it. Yeah.
I thought that was gonna be fine because it probably should be a little different than like a pour over. It's bitter for sure. Especially on the back end, it's just kind of lingering there and just it's bitter.
All right, we're gonna look at. Okay, so it's still got like a pretty even. Like it's not completely. It's slumped to one side, which is interesting. I feel like in like Jurassic Park when they're like examining like the dino dung. I'm like, oh, look at. I think we can do better. I say we do another shot. I'm not willing to give this one up.
Nope.
Okay, round 2. So we're gonna try it a little different just to conserve on water and coffee. We're doing 45 grams of coffee and doing a 15-to-1 ratio, and I grinded it a little finer, actually quite a bit finer. So we are gonna see how that goes. We're gonna do 675 grams of water.
So that's still, I mean, depending on how big of a pour over you do, like usually I'll do an 18-gram pour over and that yields 200 grams of coffee. So you're still getting 3 cups of coffee. More than that. So I feel like that's still pretty good.
Yeah.
You could scale this up to, obviously, you're going to use more coffee, but
yeah, we just kind of were like, okay, let's just see if this
the
works.
ratio stays. You know?
Yeah.
That's why it's called a ratio.
Learning can be fun.
Yeah. We're men of science here.
Men of science. That's, yeah. Yeah, sure. Okay, so, yeah.
No, just throw it in there and then put the filter in, or then get it wet and then just dump out that water. I think we should try a little bit less of a bloom and maybe we try and like shake and get all the basket and get everything kind of, you know, saturated, because that's, I feel like one of the main issues with like these coffee makers is it doesn't get all the coffee right away. So you're not really going to get a good bloom, you know.
Now we start. The good thing is you can technically leave this up, so you can kind of tell when the water's coming through.
Does it stop going if you lift it up? Do you know?
Nope.
Yes.
Oh, it does. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's spewing out the back.
That would be good. I don't even know if that water's hot yet.
Oh, really?
That's what I'm kind of worried about. Oh, no, that's hot. That's hot. Oh, God dang. I don't know why I thought that wouldn't be hot. Never mind.
Yeah, one went.
Wow, these coffee makers. I was like, there's no way he heated up the water that fast. It did. Black & Decker.
Imagine that. The coffee maker has hot water in it.
I know.
Okay. I'm curious. Okay, I'd stop it.
All right.
I'm going to splash that up. Just kind of give that a swirl. Get everything saturated. We're already off to a better start here.
Yeah.
Okay, so now everything's saturated. We're going to get a decent bloom now.
And I like holding it up will actually keep it from pouring into the base below. So it'll actually have like a nice little...
Also, we need to time this again too.
Yeah.
Hit that timer. Now the real question is doing all this, is that less work than making 3 pour overs?
Maybe. We'll see. I guess we're
going to see. We're going to see.
You know, we're building workflows here. I'm like do a little work on the front end and then be able to walk away. Nothing's worse than when you have guests over. There's just things you want to do. You want to relax, read a book, listen to some vinyl, and you're stuck making pour overs for everyone at brunch.
Like, I know there's a Chemex, but you got to sit there. You got to baby it. And if you're making more than 1 cup, it's kind of annoying.
It is.
So, especially for like holidays, you know, having friends over, things like that. Like, that's why this exists, obviously. I'm not going to sell you a coffee maker. You know what it is.
We're not even really suggesting buying this. We're more like, dude, if you have it, this is the other thing. This is what I love about this. How many times have you been on a trip and the Airbnb, your grandparents' house, they got one of these bad boys, and you're like, oh no, my whole pullover set didn't fit in my carry-on.
Oh no, they lost my bags on the flight.
Oh, my Chemex.
My Chemex shattered in my carry-on.
Exactly. So we are just showing that you and your granddad can enjoy the same cup of coffee, and he won't even know. He won't even know that you're doing it all fancy like.
Yeah.
He'll be like, what are you doing? You're like, oh, it's jammed up, Grandpa. Really, you're
Gotta let
blooming
it
the
bloom.
coffee. Yeah. What are you gonna try to explain that to him? No. No.
It's gonna call you a slur.
You're not wrong. I'm just saying. It's, I don't even know.
I don't know what I was gonna say. I
This
was gonna
thing's
say something
percolating.
important.
This is definitely one of the cheapest models
Oh yeah.
you can get.
Bare
It's
bones.
bare bones. I bet you this thing runs you $29 on Amazon right now.
Oh yeah.
And what I love about like this, obviously you can spend $400, get the fellow line of everything, make the best cup of coffee every morning for the rest of your life. No doubt about that. No question. But there are a lot of at-home coffee makers, and I feel like this one has the potential to let you dial it in more than any of them. I have had a percolator, and it's burning it. It's like the water's so hot. There's no using it without it burning your coffee.
Right.
And with like a French press, you got some wiggle room, but there's a lot of limiting factors here that like keep you locked into this. You have one way to make the coffee. And I feel like this thing is not that far away from what you're going to get at a coffee shop.
And I mean, honestly, like you could even take this a step further. You could experiment. You could make like iced coffee in here.
Ooh.
I mean, if you really try and experiment.
Honestly, that would be a really good.
If you wanted to be like, I don't want to do cold brew, but I want to bulk make some iced coffee. Or honestly, like, let's just say you want just some like iced coffee in the fridge, ready to go. You could just brew a batch like this, chill it in the fridge, and then drink the one you want. You're set.
Yeah.
I think there's a place. I think we've gotten overly pretentious with our coffee. I'm not going to say there's no wrong way to drink coffee. There are some wrong ways. But I think overall, we've gotten way too pretentious. Nothing wrong with a coffee maker in the right scenario. You know?
Yeah.
You don't need $400 of equipment.
$29 worth of equipment.
Yeah. Is it
a bag of good coffee?
Is it probably going to be better if you use $400 of good equipment? Yes. But will I still enjoy this? We'll see. Probably.
You can upcycle an old coffee maker without throwing something else away. Like
that right there. We're gonna clock out at 5.5 minutes.
Yeah,
pour time. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
There's
a low burn.
That you can't avoid that. That's just kind of par for the course here.
Okay, now we're back to like a nice classic coffee. Okay, that already smells better than the last one.
It does. It smells stronger for sure. It's already off the bat a little stronger, for sure. In a good way. It's still a little bitter.
Yep.
I'd say close in bitterness to the last one.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting that it can go like, it still tastes, it's strong, but like thin.
Yeah, it is weird.
It's definitely
is weird.
Under extracting from a full body coffee.
Mm-hmm. Which I'd be curious to know what temperature this is brewing at.
Yeah.
Like, which we could have checked. We don't have a thermometer, but like it would have been really interesting to see like, okay, what is this brewing too hot, not hot enough? You're kind of just flying blind with one of these things.
I probably had to have had coffee like this from a coffee shop and didn't even blink.
Yes, that is true. Yeah. And like as it's cooling, there's flavor coming out more and more, and it's pretty good. Honestly, like we have a pour steady, that thing's what, like $4,000? Not more. It's expensive. I would say this is just as good as some of the pourers.
Yeah, I think it really just comes into like patience and dialing it in. I think it's less about the machine and more about just ratios and water.
If you're going to use a crappy coffee machine, I'd say you need to do a 15-to-1 coffee to water ratio, a little stronger than normal, and then make sure your machine is clean. Get Kafiza, do whatever you need to do, make sure it's clean. I'd say clean it, I don't know, once a week.
Yeah.
I know that's annoying, but the junk that is in here, if you don't clean it, it's going to make your coffee taste absolutely terrible. So I think if you do those couple of things, you're going to have a decent cup of coffee out of a $20 coffee machine.
I think you can get an expensive cup of coffee out of a cheap machine if you treat it like an expensive one. That means you got to do maintenance, clean it. You got to weigh out everything, find the ratio that works for the machine. Obviously, if you buy a $4,000 home espresso machine, a $400 home brewer, you're going to dial it in. You're going to find the recipes. You're going to tweak it. You're going to clean it, and you're definitely going to measure. So I think if you just get over the fact that this is a $30 coffee maker and treat it like it's 10 times that, you can get a coffee that is 10 times that.
My mom would always clean her coffee maker with vinegar. I don't know why.
I feel like that's why.
So I have some, and it would just make the whole house smell like vinegar. It was gross. It was so bad.
Ew, brother. Ew.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want pickled. Next episode, pickles and coffee.